Hi, it's Jean, and I am checking in on my fast, my 30-day full body transformation, and it's going pretty good. I'm on day 13. I'll talk today a little bit about, what it's like to not be eating and when I don't feel so good and what I've been doing and all of that. So, 13 days ago, I decided more than 13 days ago. So that's the thing. Planning ahead is kind of key. Oftentimes I go into something thinking, oh, now is the time for me to do this. And so I'm just going to do it like tomorrow or on Monday or something like that. Well, this time I kind of thought about that, but then I said, no, I'm going to, make sure I've got a bit of a plan. And one of the things I did was made a nice big pot of chicken broth, chicken and bone broth with some veggies like onions and carrots and parsley and stuff like that. So put that in jars, froze it, and that has proven to be a really good thing for me to have done. One thing I'm avoiding during this whole thing is doing any cooking. So my family has been left to their own devices as far as mealtime, and this is not new to them, so it's not as if I just threw something on them that they've never done before. They are perfectly capable people in terms of making sure they eat food and stay nourished. So that's something that's been helping me out. I don't spend much time in the kitchen. It's been funny how the habit of eating has shifted. So the first day, every time I walk by a bowl of something or this or that, I thought I'm going to want to reach out and actually eat it. That's the very first thought I had when I saw food, was that I'm just going to eat it. And over time, that's changed. I see food, I don't even think about it. So 13 days is actually a good long while. It's the longest I've ever fasted. And, if I'm being completely transparent, on a day I had to go do some beekeeping, I had maybe a total of 2 tablespoons of some nuts to kind of help give me a little bit of something versus nothing to keep going. I'm not sure that did too much, but that's what I've had as terms of like solid chew it and swallow it food. And that day too, that's when I started taking in a little bit of diluted bone broth. I'm not having a huge amount of that at all, but I feel like that has made a huge difference. So I wake up in the morning, I walk the dogs, and I hit a wall. I'm just like, I'm going to sit down. Well, what I do is I now get a mug of water. I put in 4 or 5 tablespoons of broth, and I use that term loosely because it's not the measuring tablespoon, it's a tablespoon, like a normal stirring tablespoon. I put in about 4 or 5 of those, sprinkle some salt, and then a drop of trace minerals, so some electrolytes. And I sip on that for a little while, and then all of a sudden, everything's good. Now, the ketones in my body are so high that I mean, not in a bad way, high in a good way. That's showing that my body is burning a lot of fat, which is good. One thing to note too, well, we'll talk about ketones first. So the ketones are really great. I feel like mentally really good. Do I still forget some things? Yeah, I did before. I notice now, I don't know if I notice now more because I'm fasting or if it's different now. But the clarity I'm having every day is really good. And I love that. It's such a nice feeling. It sure beats going like this all day. I'm like, it's Friday, I'm tired. No, I feel really like I can keep going, which has its downside because when I go to bed, I'm not really feeling like I'm going to go to sleep. I haven't done a lot of extra walking. I was kind of trying not to overexert myself, but I think I'm going to try putting some walking into my schedule and see how that does. there was something else I was touching on, and then I went back to the ketones. I don't know. So that's how I've been feeling. Tomorrow I go in and get my, I now remember. So tomorrow I go in and I get my measurements again through it's a Tanita machine. It measures my, like the concentrations of my bones, my muscles, my body fat, my weight, all that, the water in my system. It gives me a metabolic age. So I'll get another reading on that. So I have one from the beginning, I have one from last week, and I'm going to get one tomorrow, and I'll report on what those numbers look like. Something that has happened during this fast is that while the scale was going down, it went back up. Now, clearly this can't be because I'm gaining weight, right? I'm not gaining any body fat. So what was going on? I think with adding in the electrolytes and all the stuff that my body's going through is it's not just flushing out water. It's retaining water, which we need, right? So I'm trying to make sure I do take in enough water. It sometimes is hard to kind of remember that. I do tend to feel most of the time like I've got some form of dry mouth, which is probably one of the worst side effects of doing this fast. You'd think it might be something else, or I thought maybe I would just feel not good. But the longer I've gone into the fast, the better I've felt, which is kind of weird, except for the dry mouth. So I've been chewing a little bit of gum, which, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say that's the greatest thing to do, because you start chewing things, your body starts to want to start the digestion process, which then starts the hunger process. So I try not to, but occasionally I gotta pop in a piece of gum and chew on it for a little while. Drink down my water. I'll go in and have some broth. I anticipate the way this is gonna work. I wasn't really even sure. I wanted to go do a 30-day fast, see what would happen. I wasn't really sure how it was all gonna kind of play out. Because I've got to do some hard physical labor on the weekend, I am gonna have a meal. I'm gonna have a high-fat meal, just to make sure that I'm not putting my body into any kind of, I don't know, state that is unhealthy. And I think a meal will be fine, and then I'm going to resume the rest of the fast after that, and keep updating on that. So, yeah, the high-fat meal will be Saturday, and then back to normal. My stomach just gave a really good growl just now. And I do feel hungry sometimes, but the hunger isn't intense. It just feels like hunger, and then it goes away, and that's all good. So the reason I'm ending the fast when I am, and when I started when I did, was because I wanted to make sure that I had 30 days between the start time and to end a few days prior to my son's birthday, so that I could enjoy his birthday with him. And he loves to eat, so, you know, it would be nice to be able to sit there and eat with him and not look at him while he's eating. So what I've been doing too, that's what I wanted to talk about, is there's some data that says if we fast for a long period of time, we could have something called refeeding syndrome if we eat and our body doesn't have enough B1 vitamin thiamine, that if we eat carbs, that our body, I can't even tell you the scientific thing. I'll get more into detail when I know more about it, but suffice to say, bad things can happen, like really bad things can happen. And I got worried about that a little bit, and I thought, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to start refeeding sooner, so that I can make sure that I'm okay for my son. I gotta really put myself on this path of really minimal food for a period of time, so I don't create any problems for myself. Well, the more I researched it, the more it became evident that the people who experience refeeding syndrome, which, by the way, is less than 0.5%. is because they have been in a state of starvation for a long period of time. And I can assure you, I have not been in any state of starvation for any period of time. Fasting is by my choice, and I am taking in electrolytes. I had been taking some herbal teas. I haven't really found that I've needed that support in the last few days, so I have kind of cut that back a bit. But the thing that has been really, really beneficial to me is that bone broth in the morning when I'm feeling really crappy. And then after that's, like I said, after that's been in for a little bit, I feel really, really good. And then I'll take a little bit at night so that I just feel good about giving my body some nutrients and some nourishment. The whole fast was not to deplete my stores and make myself sick. It was to see what happens and make myself healthier, which reminds me that I noticed today there was a little bit of a spring in my step, which is really kind of cool. I had a hip that bothers me, and I haven't felt that pain in a few days now that I'm thinking about it. Getting out of bed is not a chore. I just pop up out of bed. So those things have all been really, really positive. I hope to share more positive things, but I don't know what to expect. So we'll see. That's the update on day 13. I will get my numbers tomorrow, and if I have time, I will pop in and give you kind of a comparison of what they look like versus the previous weeks. And yeah, so that's the plan. I will check in with you soon. Thanks for tuning in, and if you want to keep up to my progress, let me know. I'll be getting more into detail on how I step through, and if you're interested in doing something like this, you might be waiting to see what my results are and just how much torture I'm putting on myself. But so far, I think it hurts other people around me to watch me not eat than it actually hurts me not to eat. So I'm doing pretty good. Anyway, I will see you soon, and till next time, bye for now.